Hey guys, thank you for tuning into Tales from AmysCrypt. Today I'm going to be talking about the most haunted places in one of my favourite spooky towns, Salem, Massachusetts. Salem is great because it encompasses all things spooky, though it is best known for its infamous witch trials, which were held back in 1692. This was fueled by the lies of just a few young girls who saw hundreds accused of witchcraft, 18 people sent to their deaths at the gallows, and even one guy pressed to death. Pressing is a medieval torture method where heavy rocks are stacked upon the chest until it collapses and you die. But we're not really here to talk about witches or torture. We're here to talk about the ghosts of Salem. One of the creepier places to visit in Salem, Massachusetts is the Old Burying Ground Cemetery. Now this is actually the second oldest cemetery in the United States and supposedly holds the remains of Jonathan Corwin. Jonathan Corwin was known as the hanging judge during the Salem witch trials and is thought to haunt the cemetery now. He's even been known to show up in unsuspecting tourist photos, but unfortunately not mine. There's also been a ton of reports of people sighting light anomalies, feeling sudden temperature drops, and hearing disembodied voices within the Old Burying Point Cemetery of Salem. Our next haunted Salem location is actually right next door to the Old Burying Point Cemetery. In fact, Murphy's Pub shares a retaining wall with the cemetery, which leads into the most disturbing story that I'm about to tell you. Apparently, on one occasion, this wall weakened enough to allow the coffin of a small child to burst through the wall and land in the dining room of the pub. So it's really not that hard to imagine this place being haunted. There's also been many claims of people sighting a woman dressed in a Victorian-era blue dress near the back end of the cemetery, just near Murphy's Pub. A lot of other people have also seen the apparition of a young boy hanging around the same area holding a picnic basket. And then there's also the ghost of a lone female who staff will often report seeing within the pub very late at night. Our next haunted location in Salem is today a cute little bed and breakfast, but was once known as the Joshua Ward House. Though built way later than the Salem witch trials, it was built on top of land which was once the residence of George Corwin. Corwin was a sadistic sheriff during the time of the witch trials, earning himself the nickname the Strangler because of his inhumane interrogation and execution methods. In 1697, he died of a heart attack. Then his family buried him underneath the home. They didn't want to put him in a normal burial plot out of fear of what the locals would do, since he was such a hated man. His body was later exhumed and moved to a cemetery, which some think is the reason why he still haunts his old property. Corwin's apparition has allegedly been spotted by numerous people within the Joshua Ward House. Others have also reported the sensation of feeling strangled. Then there is also the ghost of a very scary looking lady and the gentleman who was pressed to death earlier, who remain at the residence. It is thought that they were tortured or interrogated at the place of Corwin's old house. Our fourth most haunted place in Salem, Massachusetts is also allegedly haunted by someone involved in the witch trials, despite being built way later. The HAWTHORNE Hotel is an absolutely stunning building which is allegedly haunted by the ghost of Bridget Bishop, who was the first woman executed for witchcraft during the Salem witch trials. Supposedly, Bridget owned an apple orchard on the land the HAWTHORNE Hotel is built upon. She is thought to be the mysterious woman that appears in front of room 612 before disappearing back into thin air, and responsible for the smell of apples that waft throughout the hotel. Room 325 of the HAWTHORNE Hotel is also allegedly haunted. Many guests have said that the cries of a child or a baby wake them in the middle of the night, and lights and taps are also said to turn on their own accord. Now, before I go over the most haunted place in Salem on this list, I wanted to give out a few honourable mentions, but if you haven't already, please make sure to hit subscribe if you're interested in learning more about other haunted locations. We've got the beautiful House of the Seven Gables, which is supposedly haunted by its former owner, Susan Ingersoll, who is usually seen peering out of the empty home's windows. And then there is also the entity of a young boy that haunts the premises. There is Salem's local haunted bookstore, Wicked Good Books. This place is said to be haunted by poltergeist activity, which is thought to be in relation to a secret tunnel system that was located underneath the store that supposedly is also where human remains were found. There's also bunghole liquors. Yes, bunghole. You might catch more than one type of spirit in this booze shop, since it supposedly used to run as a speakeasy out of a funeral parlor right next to where bodies were embalmed. Apparently there is the ghost of an unknown female who roams near the wine section. Now it's finally time for me to reveal the #1 most haunted place in Salem, which my pick is the Witch House. This place both looks like a haunted house and a witch house, but don't let the name fool you. No witches ever actually lived here. It is the oldest surviving structure with links back to the witch trials though. This house is rumoured to be built way back in 1642. It was the family home of Judge Jonathan Corwin during the Salem witch trials. This guy presided over many of the trials and subsequently sent a lot of people to their deaths. During their existence, the Corwin family was plagued with a string of bad luck, which saw them face a lot of death. Whilst they lived in the home, 8 out of their 10 children died before adulthood. These lost lives are thought to have contributed towards the hauntings of the witch house. Paranormal occurrences such as sudden temperature drops, blasts of freezing cold air, being touched by unseen presences, and disembodied voices within the home are common. Even Ghost Adventures had to come and check out this haunted location. Well, there you have it guys, the most haunted places in Salem, Massachusetts. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please remember to like, comment and subscribe. I'd love to know your thoughts on these places. Did I miss any? Have you had any spooky Salem experiences that you want to share? If you're looking for more info on haunted places, definitely check out AmysCrypt.com. But until next time, stay spooky.